Hello, Cecil County and the world. Welcome to Cecil.tv, Cecil Weekly. I am your host, Rob Churnside, and it's October the 9th. Happy birthday to my wife, the lovely and talented Princess Dr. Anastasia. It's her birthday. And it's also John Lennon's birthday, just in case anybody wanted to know. This Saturday, coming up, the Apple Butter Festival at the Beehive on Route 273 outside of Fair Hill. The town of Rising Sun will be having their Spooktacular 2017 in preparation for Halloween. In Elkton, Union Hospital will be having their 5K race in the morning, starting at 8:30, and Premier Auto and Tire will be having their second annual Mini Grand Prix from 12 to 5 in the streets of Elkton, taking over the streets with go-karts going fast, like 40 miles an hour plus. One more thing. Very, very important. Fair Hill International starting this Thursday at Fair Hill and going through Saturday. With us tonight we have the Executive Director of the Fair Hill International, Carla Geiersbach.
Yes.
Welcome, Carla.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming to Cecil.tv, Cecil Weekly. So this is a really exciting event.
Yeah.
A three-day event, correct?
It is a 3-day event. It happens over 4 days, though. We have, so it's an equestrian triathlon, but we need 2 days to do the first piece of that. So Thursday and Friday are dressage, and that's when our two teammates, horse and rider, work together in what's essentially like a ballet. They work very hard to make it look like they're not working hard. And then that moves into Saturday. Saturday is our adrenaline day, where the horses and riders are galloping 25 miles an hour over fences that are as big as your car. Into water, out of water. It's about a 4-mile course. The thing that's super fun about that is you can get right up along the galloping lanes, and it's almost like when they mic up the football players.
Right.
And it makes the game a little more exciting. You can hear the riders talking to their horses as they're going through the course, people cheering as they make it through the water complex. Lots of fun. Sunday is where we crown our winner based on show jumping, which is more traditional in an arena. All of these disciplines are very different, and the thing that makes this a tough sport is having a pair, horse and rider, that can do all three well on that one weekend.
Sure. So as you said, it's like a triathlon.
Yep.
And there is a difference, which you explained to me earlier, between a steeplechase and this. What is that difference?
Well, steeplechase is a straight-out race. The fastest one wins, and all the horses go at the same time. Our cross-country day, it is timed, and it is a very aggressive time, so they have to be galloping at a certain meter per minute rate in order to make that. But we never want horses and riders to meet each other on course.
No.
So they go at designated intervals about 4 minutes apart.
So viewers don't actually sit in the grandstands. They pick spots throughout Fair Hill?
They do. We have some great tailgating spots that are at different venues. If folks don't know the area, a great place to start is in our craft beer tent, which is right on the main galloping lane, and really gives them a great view. But the thing that's fun is we have people movers that can get people to different parts of the course. And so if you look in the program and say, ooh, I want to see that fence, you can go wherever you want as long as it's not on a galloping lane. And they're all marked. We have designated crossings. It's very easy to figure out. You don't have to be quiet like in golf, so you can bring the kids, you can bring your dog. DNR has to have them on a leash, but it's just a fun day.
That sounds great. And that Saturday is kind of your big fun day.
That is Saturday. Saturday is the day, if you don't know 3-day eventing, it's a great introduction. It's the day that we have the Craft Beer Festival. Gore Running Wear is also sponsoring 5K first thing in the morning, so folks can run the course and see all of the fences. The fences are impressive. They're very big, and when you stand next to them, you can really tell.
Wow.
Yeah.
That gives a whole nother connection right there as runners go by where the horses are going to go.
Yeah. It'll be a lot of
great.
fun. Yeah.
Well, let's show our viewers just exactly what this
fabulous
whole
poster
thing entails.
All of the information is on our website at fairhillinternational.com. You can register for the run on that, and you can find out about the schedule and everything that's going on for the weekend.
Great. I kind of want to go there.
I hope you will.
Yeah.
Come
I've
join
never
us.
seen anything like this.
It's fun.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
And now, a regular on Cecil.tv and a favorite of mine especially. Mike Dixon, welcome, Mike.
Thanks, Rob.
From the Cecil County Historical Society, Mike is going to enlighten us on ghosts in Elkton, right?
Right. So one of the questions we often get is about ghosts or spirits lingering around Elkton. Now, as a professional skeptic, I'm never quite sure about them, although there might be a few around the corner of North and Main Street sometimes. But they're talking more spectral types of things. And I'll tell you, Rob, the one building where you have to pause, even as a real skeptic, and listen to them a little bit, is when they talk about the old jail on North Street.
Now that's where the senior center used to be, and it's now
Senior apartments.
okay.
Right, so it's right across from the police department. It used to be the senior center for decades, but before it was the senior center, say before 1985, it was the Cecil County Jail. And it had been a county jail for about 125 years. It was built in 1870. So just think of the county's lockup, the county's prison, of all the things in the course of 125 years that would happen in a building like that.
Right. So there was hangings, maybe?
Yeah, there were hangings. So in the course of time, there were about 6 hangings that occurred right there in that very spot. The last one occurred in October of 1905. Actually, it was October 20th, 1905. And a young man by the name of Sempers had been charged with murdering a judge out by Far Creek, out on the old Baltimore Pike. And on that morning in October, so long ago, he would breathe his last as the Cecil County executioner would arrive to walk him up to the gallows and put the rope around his neck.
And that was a real wooden gallows where you walked up the steps and dropped down.
Just like you see in a Western TV. In fact, it was the first time the public, because these things were public spectacles, and if one occurred, those others that occurred, thousands of people would show up to watch. But the state had tightened up laws, so this was behind the walls where they had built a brick yard, and so it was enclosed, so the people couldn't watch it. But even that day, there were hundreds of people outside waiting to hear about the execution. It would be the last execution that would occur here in Cecil County, because in the 1920s, the state would take over. They relieved the Cecil County hangman or executioner of his job.
Mm. What passed for entertainment back in the day, huh?
Well, I'll tell you, the hanging was a big gig, and literally they'd have to call out the local militia company and things like that. So it's kind of things like that, Rob, that perhaps cause the people to talk about ghosts. Even today, the residents that have moved in there into the apartment buildings in this finely refurbished building, you really have to pause and listen to them. I hear a lot of ghost stories, and mostly you hear noises and creaks, and I really am a skeptic. But here it causes me to stop and say,
So what's the most prevalent ghost story about the old Elkton jail?
Well, let me tell you, probably the most dramatic story and the most believable was this. So when it was the county senior center, a lady was the night shift custodian. She'd come in after the seniors had finished playing pool and had a bingo and had a good time for the day. And in the winter, as it started getting dark early, she had retired from Union Hospital. She would be in the building by herself. And she said, you know, it always frightened me. And she says it wasn't really a problem in the daytime. I would just, in the summertime, I would just rush and get my work done. But in the winter, when it was getting dark, about 4:30, 4:45, she says I would hear men's voices in hallways. And I'd hear like doors clanging, yet I would go down there and look at them. And, you know, there was nothing in the hallway, and I was the only one in the building. And so I said to her, well, what do you do about that? She says, well, it really scares me. I usually shout at them. And I said, you shout at the ghost? Yeah, she says, yeah, I shout at the ghost. I said, what would you do to have some effect on him? She says, I'm so-and-so's daughter. I kind of looked puzzled, and I said, what does that do? She says, it shuts him up. Well, I'm a curious guy. Why? Well, my dad was always getting locked up in the 1940s, and I fear if it's ghosts and jailbirds in there, it settles them right down. And according to her, it worked. Now, what was interesting, there was also a sheriff that died in the line of duty there, a Sheriff Miller, about 13 years after this. In those days, the sheriff lived in the house. The wife had an apartment and she saw her husband get shot by a prisoner. He gets carried inside and dies over a couple hours. She was talking to me, and she says, you know, I hear a name, and it matched with the book. And she would not have been looking this type of material up. So it just causes you to say, Lots of professional ghost hunters have gone in there over the years, and they seem to think they find something. All I can tell you is what the historical record said. A Cecil County lawman died in the line of duty there. Multiple hangings in the courtyard. The old whipping post. It's a place of many dark deeds and tragedies.
Yes.
And maybe the spirits still linger there, Rob. I don't know.
Well, it's certainly something to think about, especially with Halloween coming up. I think I might go up there and trick or treat at your apartment.
I think you need to do a song.
I will do that.
Good.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Well, this past Saturday, Cecil.tv took to the streets of our county seat, Elkton that is, and we checked out the second annual Cecil County's second annual Minihane's Arts Festival, which featured a celebrity cook-off, and that was very, very good. And that cook-off benefited the Cecil County Arts Council. There was some great music, games, face painting, and lots of other art as well, including a one-of-a-kind chainmail representation of our state. Check it out. Well, here we are with Roger Owens at the Arts Festival. And Roger, why are you here?
I'm here because the Arts Festival is a good event. We're bringing people in from other areas downtown here in Elkton. There's lots of things to do. There's a bouncy house here. There's a cotton candy. There's food. There's a chili cook-off or whatever kind of cook-off it is. It's just a really good time. Plus live music. It's a good time for everybody, children included, families.
Yes, Roger, you're right, and that the food is delicious. I'm not done eating yet. So there's another reason you come to Elkton. In fact, next week you'll be here in the Elkton Grand Prix, correct?
That's correct. The Elkton Grand Prix is next week. It's a mini go-kart race with go-karts that do like 40 miles an hour. Matter of fact, today on a practice run, my go-kart went 42 miles an hour. And we're going to shut the downtown down, and it's going to be a great time. It's a fundraiser for the hospital. The Premier Auto people sponsor this and make sure it works well and make sure everybody's go-kart's working well. And they've had 2 practice races, one today and one last week. And they have a modified class this time around, so you're going to hear some loud go-karts that are driving at high rates of speed. Everybody will have safety equipment on. The police will be here to make sure the streets are managed well. And I tell you what, last year was a big surprise to everybody because it was a lot better and a lot more well-attended than anybody expected. So this year we expect to do really well.
Well, we can't wait. And what time does that go off?
I believe it's around 11 o'clock. Come downtown early, around 10 o'clock. There's going to be some street vendors down here. And it goes on for about 4 or 5 hours. There's going to be at least 2 or 3 heats because of the 2 different classes of race cars. And you'll be surprised. Some of these people spend an last year, my race cart, we used a paper plate with a magic marker as our pit crew sign. Some of these people have professional pit crew signs painted. Their carts have been painted. They have professional gas cans. I mean, it really is overboard. You'll be surprised what you see here.
Awesome. Look out, NASCAR, because Elkton's revving it up next Saturday. And here we are at Minihane's second annual Arts Festival with one of the artists, Brian Galloway, creator of this lovely replica of the Maryland flag. Tell us about it, Brian.
Well, it's aluminum, anodized aluminum scales and rings. It weighs 25 pounds. It's comprised of 22,272 scales and over 45,000 rings. Every single ring had to be done open and closed one by one. It took about 233 hours to complete over the course of 9 months.
That's like a whole month of work.
About
Amazing.
that. If I worked 8 hours a day, I'd probably be able to finish a flag a month.
Do you do other kind of mail things like night suits?
I absolutely do. I actually made my own shirt. I'll be at the Renaissance Festival on the 14th wearing a Templar Knight outfit with my own chainmail on there. I do jewelry as well. And pretty much the artwork is whatever anybody would want. So I could do the same type of thing like in a corset or a t-shirt or anything like that.
Well, thank you, Brian, and good luck with this. Somebody's going to want this. One of the many artists here at Minihane's second annual Arts Festival.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I went and done it now. I'm getting a smiley face on my knee, courtesy of Iris, half of the fairy art duo, Liz and Iris. She's actually a priestess, and I think this smiley face sunny tat body art is a blessing of some sort, correct?
But of course, everything's a blessing.
Now, you've had so many kids come through. The grown-ups can do it too, right?
Of course. Timeless.
Awesome. So tell me about fairy art a little bit.
It's a word that we use to describe just about everything. A bit of whimsy, appreciation for the sacredness of the earth, and multi-medium, a little bit of performance art, whatever. Very magic.
Very magic, she says. Awesome. And Liz will have to speak for herself when we get to both of you in the studio, right?
Indeed.
Yes?
Indeed.
Awesome. And now for our musical guest. We discovered this guy at the second and fourth Tuesday open mics at Wesley's in Fair Hill, 8 to 12. Cecil.tv is always there. And we discovered Terry Merriman. Terry, welcome.
Rob, thank you. Glad to be here.
I'll tell you what, we saw you up there at Wesley's playing, and I knew right away you had to come on the show. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, I think when I first saw you, you were playing guitar. Then you brought a keyboard the following session. You're going to play both tonight.
Yes, one for each. Yep.
Great, great. How'd you get started? Which one did you start with?
I started with Hawaiian guitar in 5th grade. That lasted for like 2 years. Then it was into sports and all of that. But
Right.
my father had a Hammond organ sitting in the living room.
Nice.
So I kind of learned all of his show tunes and the old standards. And then by the time I was in senior, I was playing 3 to 6 nights a week in a soul band.
Gotta love that.
You know, turned psychedelic in college, and then Southern rock coming out of that. Then took some time off when my kids were born. They brought me back into it. One picked up guitar, the other picked up drums, and I had to go out and buy a little keyboard to keep up with them.
Now, do you still play with them every now and then?
When the guitar player, my older son, and I get together, we always jam.
That's nice. That's
The
really nice.
younger one didn't stick with the drums, but the older one, it's always a treat. The fun thing was, like, when we had the band and we were playing out, it was like, oh, there's finally a reason to have a father.
You're right.
So we were playing for a bit, and then I ended up doing a duo with a female vocalist. That was up in the Quakertown area.
I was just going to ask, was that around here? Or?
No, I grew up in Lansdale, and then my kids grew up in Quakertown. Then I moved down here some time ago, and I'm just kind of putting the feelers out.
Well, we're certainly glad that we met you, and we're looking forward to having you play tonight. Original tunes?
Yes. Yep.
You write a lot of originals, or?
I've been writing since college. I think the style has kind of developed along the way. So,
Sure.
You know, I enjoy the writing, I enjoy the playing out, I enjoy the recording and arranging, you know, the whole thing.
Right. Now, do you have CDs or website or any of that stuff that a lot of people
Having
have?
said all of that, I have a website, terrymerriman.com. You can go there. I don't have an official CD yet. I've got a couple of things. I've been in the studio, you know, working on that, so hopefully I will have something coming out soon.
Right. Well, you play the keyboard, you play the guitar, any other instruments? And you sing too?
Yep.
Sing great?
Sing. I like to sing lead, but I really love singing harmonies too.
Awesome.
So that's pretty much it.
Well, let's get into the music.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I enjoy playing in different tunings on the guitar. Each tuning makes it seem like a brand new instrument and gives you whole new patterns to play around with. Kind of breaks you out of the old patterns. This is in Dadgad, and each tuning kind of gives you a certain style or feel to it, and you kind of have to break that code in order to figure it out. So that's what this is called, breaking the code. Okay, so this is a song called No Shades of Grey, and it's sort of a two-part song. The first part starts off this slow bluesy thing, and it's kind of a remembrance of how easy life was as a child. The second part is this really fast, hectic 4/4 thing that is exemplification of what life is in the adult world. So we'll see how the two of them meld together. Life was much slower then, with time to enjoy myself, while walking down mountain streams. No conflicts on which to dwell. is just passing me by. No time to clear my mind. Now my life is just rushing by. Can't seem to slow it down. I need to slow it down. Greeters call me from far away, asking me to come out and play. They hope I'll forget what I am doing today. I grew up loving my life there by the rolling banks, where I enjoyed my moments and forgot my cares. My life was simple, no shades of gray, no two right answers at the end of the day. I long to return there and have someone say, you no longer have to depend on the right decisions or the things that are troubling you. Everything will be as it was back when you knew just what was expected.